The sun on my face. Fresh air in my lungs. The grass beneath my feet.
Metro is back after a main series hiatus of almost 6 years, with everyone's favorite underground dwelling protagonist finally coming to the surface in Exodus. Following the previous game, the new installment has players continue the story of Metro 2033 and Last Light. This series has been through some changes over the years, with Last Light straying from the original narrative and Redux bringing the games to a new console generation. But one thing is certain: Exodus is Metro as we've never seen it before.
I live in hope.
It starts, as these things often do, with mutants out for blood. After a near-death experience and later a familiar stroll through the massive underground bunker, our hero Artyom and his wife Anna go above the surface of their home with a radio, trying desperately to get a signal when all of a sudden a train rolls by. It turns out that there's life on the surface of Moscow after all, and so begins the journey of the Order, which sets out to find traces of civilization, leaving behind the dark tunnels they've been calling home since the war began. Instead of exploring dank tunnels and underground facilities, even though there's certainly some of those areas in Exodus as well, Artyom and his wife Anna, Colonel Miller, and the rest of the gang travel across an open-world landscape by train, through different seasons along the way, finding small societies of cultists, slave traders, and the occasional genuinely good Samaritan.
But the future is still all I fear.
The various maps offer different methods of transportation for Artyom, such as boats for lovely rides on irradiated waters and armored vans for Mad Max-esque dirt road action in the desert. For the first time, Metro has gone open world, with stunning landscapes, nightmare-inducing beast lairs, and full-on cities found in different stages of the year. As for the flora and fauna in each area, the different locations differ greatly both in terms of their surroundings and the enemies that live there. Players get to take on massive bears, giant catfish, terrifying leeches, and hordes of fear-inducing spiders that creep around in the dark. Human enemies can also be taken down using the day-night cycle to one's advantage, by going into a base at night and killing the lights as you move forward. You can hinder their vision substantially. Metro Exodus feels much like a full-fledged RPG, with crafting and customization options aplenty, and that flexibility applies to the gameplay itself too.
Oh yeah? Well, why did you set the trap on our turf then?
If a player wants to go through the game stealthily with a minimal kill ratio, that's a viable option. Using the darkness to one's advantage, exploring and looking for nifty gear like night vision goggles, and using the takedown option instead of making stealth kills will not only change how you play the game, it will change the outcomes as well. If you'd rather kill everything and everyone in sight, going in guns blazing with an extra bright flashlight and a ton of explosives will also change the outcome of your journey. Regardless of how you play it, Exodus offers a gut-wrenching narrative involving Artyom and his friends, both new and old. There's plenty of room for casual conversations with his fellow members of the Order, and by making time for these, the player will learn both more about the characters, the mission ahead, and they'll even get the option to take on side missions. While it does a lot of right, we also encountered quite a few bugs and general issues, which certainly ruined the sense of immersion at times. That said, there's not enough of them to ruin the experience. With a heart-pounding narrative, fantastic environments, great action, survival elements, and the depth of the crafting and customization systems, Metro Exodus is an experience that action players will enjoy, and Metro fans will adore.